All righty. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's do this. Okay, we got a few people here. Boy, I was a little surprised by some of those events lately. Oh man, you just never know about people. You just never know, and those bad pennies will turn up. But they do. Invariably, they all kind of expose themselves. But we'll get into that. So anyway, hey, Mr. Wilson, glad you're here. uh, it's getting crazy. I know we're getting towards the end, but we'll make it. Anyway, very quickly, my name is Paul Romero. Welcome to the Lion's Den, where you come for the meat of truth. And well, we're still the write-in candidate for Oregon governor. Still fighting that fight. Just got to do it. Never give up. Never surrender. Now I know a lot of people out there say, "Well, you need to just quit and put your support behind Christine Drayson." Well, the thing is, I can't do that. I know who she is. I know where she stands, and I know what she's not going to do for Oregon. Just shy of somebody holding a gun to her head, which I don't think anyone's going to do. So maybe she'll get smart. Maybe she'll realize that maybe lieutenant governor is a good idea. Maybe if she ends up winning, she might actually give me a phone call after reading my contract with Oregon, because I got the inside track on this stuff, and right now she definitely does not. So anyway, let's go to the fans here. Mr. Wilson, of course, Coos County Clerk's office is a joke, and she is rude. You don't say. Wow, that totally shocks me. Yeah, one thing I can say, Coos County, is this: you guys have become painfully aware of the people that have been put into office, and it's really important to get your community rallied to basically recall them. You can do that, right? They're elected; they can be recalled. But I believe you have an election coming up here, and the hope is that maybe Rod Taylor might actually win. But unfortunately for Rod Taylor, there's stuff coming out about him that's just not. He's really crossed the line. So I have to wonder: are we witnessing invasion of the body snatchers? Right? Okay. It's like, why would somebody who was just A1 squared away, doing the right things for the right reasons, all of a sudden go 180 degrees out? I don't know. I really can't answer that without really being around that person. But the fact is, it's been happening more and more lately. So with Rod Taylor running for county commissioner, I still think he's the best candidate out of what you have. That doesn't mean, let's put it this way: you're going to be choosing between the lesser of evils, unfortunately, but he falls under that category of lesser of the evils. I hope. Now, I believe he's going to do the right thing in regard to elections and killing all the election fraud and all that. That's a good thing. But the biggest key is his ego. That's a bit out of control, and this is where he'd rather listen to himself than anybody else. Me, on the other hand, my whole 2 years of campaigning and doing this has been about asking and talking with other people, learning as much as I possibly can, and getting it straight from the horse's mouth. The people that experience the stuff that I may not have experienced or have limited experience in. And by doing that, it gives me the best bird's eye, 30,000-foot view I could possibly get. And with that information, and then suggestions from a lot of different people and bits and pieces I pick up myself, I build a battle strategy. I build a battle plan. And that's what you do. That's what a team does. And I've never really played in an individual sport except for maybe tennis. Okay. Unless it's doubles. um, so whether it was football or rugby, racquetball, there we go. That's kind of an individual sport. Although when I played it, we played three-man racquetball, and that was cutthroat. And let me tell you what, you want to work out? Oh, good Lord, that'll put it to you. And my racket that I still use, it's old school racket. The only power of that racket is what's in this shoulder and this arm. Yeah. So there's none of that extra tennis racquetball type racket thing. No, I'm not doing that. But again, like I said, it's like invasion of the body snatchers, where people we thought we knew were doing all the right things, and all of a sudden go 180 on us. And I wish I could tell you why, but that's going to be a little tougher to get into. But the fact is, that's what happens. And I think for Rod Taylor, there's a thing I warn anybody running for office is never ever buy your own bovine excrement. Don't do it. You are never the end all be all of human knowledge or existence. Your only hope is to know enough information to be able to make the right decisions, come up with the right plans, and then engage them. But be willing to make adjustments on the fly if need be. That's just a good, responsible thing to do and be. And leaders do that. They make those adjustments. But they also recognize leadership qualities in other people or skills in other people. And so part of a leader's job also is to coordinate those people, to get them engaged and get them working on things that they are best at. And that is probably the most fun, I think, out of real leadership, is when you can identify talent and ability and skills and bring them into the fold, make them part of the cohesive team, and then you stand together, you go forward together. And the goal as a leader is to learn from every single one of those people. If you're not learning from all those people, then really as a leader, you kind of fail. There's a level of personal relationship there, but also professional. And when you sandwich those two together, this creates an integrity, a loyalty, as well as inspiration and respect. See, you can't have loyalty from somebody without mutual respect. And for me, that's really all it's been about. The problem I have to deal with is when I'm dealing with that wild card, the joker in the deck, that because of narcissism, egocentrism, something along those lines, arrogance comes into play. And they've decided that they know more than everybody around them, that everybody else is just stupid. And we see that in some people. Now, for me, no, listen, I never ever claim to know it all. I've heard people say, well, he's a know-it-all. No, I do not know it all. I do know a lot, but definitely not at all. And invariably, the person saying that about me knows less than I do. That's true. But beyond that, but the one thing I will say about those people, there's probably some things that they know that I don't. But if we put everything on a scale based on your experience, your travels, your experiences, your education, everything, I don't run into a whole lot of people that can participate on that level. But the thing is, not everything is on that level. You see, there are things that are outside of that level for me. I had to learn a great deal about fish hatcheries, stuff like that. I had to learn a great deal about water. Oh yeah, I learned a lot about the timber industry and how that's actually being affected. I learned a whole lot about the whole cap and trade and how they're trying to create carbon problems in Oregon when we have like the lowest carbon footprint ever. So we're still back to the same thing. What happens to people that we respect initially and it's working for them, and all of a sudden they like being the center of attention? Okay. Now, some people will always say, well, that person, they're just arrogant and they just want to be the center of attention. Okay. What about the people that step on and start criticizing other people? Okay. If you have a legitimate reason, it's like, okay, Joe Smith, you claim all this, but we witnessed you stealing political signs. Yet you have the audacity to attack other people in that regard. Explain that to me. And then they'll say, well, you're being narcissist. No, I'm asking you a question about what you're doing. I'm putting you in the spotlight like a cockroach. And then when you call somebody, you tell them that they're a misogynist or they're a racist or they're a bigot or they're whatever like that. That's pretty much when they've already lost the argument. So if you find yourself in that argument and somebody says, you're just ignorant, you're a narcissist, or they imply it. And the other issue I have, and I want to make sure everybody understands this, if you're not using your real name in Telegram and everything else, you have zero credibility. And for all of us, we should give those people zero credibility. And tell them so. It's like, listen, you're not using your real name. You have zero credibility. I don't know you. I don't trust you. That's it. So you have nothing to contribute here. Move along. Right? There's a guy by the name of Scott Free. I have an idea. I know who it is now. But on Telegram, Citizens Restoring Liberty. And I watched Citizens Restoring Liberty go from just a top-notch representative group to something a whole lot less than what it was. And a lot of people have left that group. A lot of good people. It tells me something. And but that's just it. Think about certain people in power or leadership. The tighter they squeeze on their power and their control, the more it slips through their fingers. And that's where the whole arrogance thing comes in, and looking down your nose at other people and elevating yourself. See, I've been a candidate for governor, yet I've had to fight to get onto a stage, to answer questions to all the people, to be challenged, to welcome that challenge. And then there's other people not running for anything, but they're able to get up on that stage. Why is that, people? Yeah, another good question. Good one for them. But again, so within Coos County, you guys need a new county clerk, and I believe that's going to be. Oh, wait a minute. Is it county commissioner he's running for? County commissioner he's running for, I think. Anyway, he'll still make a better one than you have, but ultimately, remember this: you can recall your elected people, even in Coos County. All you got to do is have somebody go to the courthouse, say, "Okay, I want to do a petition to recall this person as county clerk," and you get that submitted. You get the paperwork, and then you go to work, and you get them recalled. And that will probably cause for a special election. Also find out that. And the other thing is never recall anybody unless you already have a candidate or two in waiting that could step up and run for that position and do that job right. It's important. But remember this, anybody can learn the job. Okay? There's not any real requirement that you have to have certain education, whatever, to get that position. You have to be elected. That's simple. Okay? So let's see. Here we go. And yes, hello, Myrtle Point. We got Mr. Kimball's in the house. Howdy do. Thank you, sir. And thank you for all you're doing. I know you're dealing with some stuff. Mr. Bennett's in the house. John Day. And let's see. We got Jerry. Oh, hey, Jerry. Good to see you, buddy. Miss Jennifer from Tillamook is in the house. We got Mr. Pat. Miss Pat. And you made it. Good job. And one of my favorite people, Miss Shauna, and LD too. She's in the house. And you guys remember when you were a little kid, you had a peanut butter jelly sandwich, and mom would take the peanut butter, spread it just thin, and then the jelly would be just thin. It was like two pieces of bread with something peanut and something whatever jelly inside. And usually back then it was grape. And as an adult, I still like peanut butter jelly sandwiches. But I don't. If I made them like that, I'd have to eat like 4 or 5 of them. And we just can't handle the bread carbs here. So what do we do? Let's see. Well, you can get fresh natural peanut butter. You get that done at Sherm's, by the way. Yep. I think it's about $3.50 for a pound, and it smashes it right there. It's fresh right there. And then of course your favorite jelly. I go for strawberry preserves usually, but I make it in one sandwich. And that's kind of like that backup meal for me. If I'm really hungry and I just needed something else, I'll grab me a PB&J. Works every time. Let's see. Diane Rich gets Coos County Clerk. Let's see. I don't think Diane's on the ballot, is she? I don't think she's on the ballot. Yeah, I had a little run-in with Diane recently. She's a little, yeah, okay, I won't even go into it. But still, I think she'd make a better county clerk than anybody else. But again, guys, you have to go recall the one. I think you got another one in already. Hey, Miss Catherine, good to see you. Where you been? Hey, Patricia. And then we got Miss Teresa. Deb, hey, there we go. Peanut butter honey. Yep. But I usually have to add banana to that. Peanut butter honey and banana. Yeah, that's a good combo. Hey, Jerry, Mr. Seward's here. Sweet. I appreciate that. So I don't know if you saw, is it Julie Green, Julie Green Ministries, or Julie, I think it's right. Anyway, she's a prophet of sorts. And I got to admit, going back and looking at her predictions, her prophecies, and the actual outcomes are very impressive. And to be honest, nobody gets that lucky. So there's something to pay attention to there. And apparently, one of the things she just recently prophesied is that there's going to be a number of upsets in a number of states, and that people will be elected to governor that are not on the ballot. She said this, okay? And I got to admit, it kind of gives chills up and down my spine, to be honest, because we witnessed a number of miracles through our campaign last year, and we knew we were in a spiritual battle, considering the evil individuals that stepped up and did everything they could to undermine this campaign. And we're going to make sure they get credit all the days of their life. That's right, all the days of their life. And so, but it's I got to admit, guys, should certain things come to pass in the next week, wow, that would be pretty dang spectacular. And yeah, there's going to be a whole lot of people that are not going to be thrilled about their poor stance on this whole opportunity, this whole issue. But all things being equal, we'll just get there and see what happens, right? That's all we really can do. Oh, hey, Mr. Thomas, Mr. Zoll's in the house. We got him as write-in for Congressional District 4. Donis was in rare form last night at some presentation that Mark Thielman gave. She can't stop lying. Let me tell you one thing. Of all the people in politics I've witnessed lying, she's right up there with Joe Biden at this point. Oh, yeah. Maybe a little worse, actually. Yeah, Donis is just a train wreck and a half. And I'm stunned that Thielman is still, well, giving her any kind of anything on that stage. Now, Mark, he could be calling me. I could actually be helping him out, but he doesn't. Oh, well, that's all I need to know regarding Mark. I know enough about him to know that, well, I would not make him governor, but we'll see how things go. Let's see, Pizza the Hut makes Pizza the Hut. Yeah, I saw a meme with a picture of Donis when she's looking at her phone, the way her hair and everything was, and then they had a picture of Pizza the Hut from Spaceballs below it, and that was all. Just two pictures, one above the other one. Quite comical, I gotta admit. Yeah, she has mental issues, legitimate mental issues, legitimate diagnosed mental issues. And there's a whole lot of people that have basically given up on her completely. All the people that pushed her, all the ones that wanted her in place of me. Okay. And now all those people that were pushing her to be that, guess where they are now? Vapor, gone, nowhere in sight. They're trying to literally escape that anchor. Can we let them do that? No. It's like, yeah, Laura Barker, Angie Vandenbos, Angela Height Miyake, Roger Shipman. Yep. Jack Allen Brown Jr. Yep. All of them. All of them pushed that on the Constitution Party of Oregon members. Sad. Truly sad. Yeah, thank you, Jerry. I appreciate it. And Mr. Kimball is there filling out the ballot as he speaks. All right. He was only tolerating her. Okay. Well, they won't even tolerate me. Now, what's funny about with Mark Thielman is that all last year, when I debated on stage with him there, he had some good answers. I had better. And every time I get done speaking and he come back, he goes, that was really good. I'm like, well, thank you. I appreciate that, Mark. And the thing is, nothing he ever said was I really able to say anything about to really compliment him above and beyond, because that's kind of what you do. It's courteous. If someone gets up there and answers a question really well, and they're coming back, you say, "Hey, that was really good." But what I like to do is like I get up there, if say Mark was before me and answering a question, and comes back around to my turn, I get to answer the same question. And I said, "Well, what Mark Thielman had to say was right on point." And I would add, and then I get my bit, which is a little more detail of the actual process or fixing the issue, and which really elevates the answer. And usually after I do that and come back, Mark's like, that was really, really good. I was like, well, listen, I've been working on this. I'm not been lazy. I've been in the books studying. So, so yeah, but he was only tolerating her. Oh man. Hey, Mr. Barry, good to see you. All right, so let's go back over here. So anyway, here in America, we had a booming economy. We had low gas prices, a secure border, and the strongest military on earth. And then Biden and Obama and the Democrats in office managed to wipe it all out in less than 2 years. That's got to be some kind of record, right? So, and we were talking earlier when when the debate is lost, slander is the weapon of the loser. And right now, there's a whole lot of Democrat losers out there. The thing I'm going to call them really communist Democrat losers because see, they're all the elites. They want to be totally in control, and because they're losing control of, say, Twitter, they're losing control, and it's making them all look bad. Even the media is starting to realize, oh shoot, now what do we do? There's one area though I want you to really pay close attention to though. Willamette Week. Now we all know Willamette Week is as left as it can get. All right, and Willamette Week will never ever support or endorse me in any way, never. But it's currently supporting Christine Drazan. That's rather interesting, don't you think? Shouldn't they be like full on in for Tina Kotek, which they were, supporting Betsy Johnson? Somewhat, yeah. But now it's about Drazan, and they're supporting her. That tells you something. The voters, it tells you something. Now, one thing about the voters is this: they keep telling me, "Well, we need to win at least this, and then we'll do it better next time." Do you really think we're going to get to that point? That's 4 more years of somebody that might be better. That's a serious roll of the dice. And with Christine Drazan, I still have not heard any substance to really what she's going to do. Nothing specific. It's like hope and change, hope and change. But I'm not going to tell you what the change is. You just got to hope that I'm going to do it right. It doesn't work. And these people want to sell out their vote. They want to compromise themselves and their vote. I'm flabbergasted by this. I was in a bit of an argument with someone on Citizens Restoring Liberty on Telegram, and I had a response. I'm going to read this to you real quick, because it really summed it up well, I think, and kind of got to the point. Where we go? Come on. Got a lot of information going through here. Shoot. Where'd it go? Where'd who go? Okay. This was actually it's the Oregon First chat room for Telegram, and it was replying to some of the critics in there. I said, I'm surprised at how many of you choose to ignore the Oregon-China Council connection that Drazan, Johnson, and Kotek have. For those who don't actually check out, who don't actually know, check out OregonChinaCouncil.org and their full endorsement of the United Nations Agenda 2030, Sustainable Development Goals, and COVID-19. Simply, I cannot and will not compromise my principles or patriotism to support any of them or any of you who support such things. It's not ego. It's not narcissism. It's a commitment to Oregonians and supporters and an obligation I accepted. Many of you may quit before success or failure, but that says plenty about you and why no one should listen to or follow your lead. Drazan is a super rhino, and you know it. The fact that you try to push people to not vote their own conscience, claiming they will ruin it for the rest of us, undermines our individual voting rights. I don't ask people to compromise, but you do. I ask them to know the candidates and vote for the best one with real solutions to save our state. I provided a contract with Oregon at RomeroForOregon.com. None of you can criticize it, as it's exactly what we want and need. I've neither seen nor heard any significant solution from Drazan, Johnson, or Kotek. I, like many other candidates, have not been given fair newspaper, radio, or TV interviews and reporting. Lord knows we've tried. During the Republican forums leading up to November 2021, I owned the debates. I'd love to debate Drazan, Johnson, and Kotek, but they don't dare. Rogue Splice spliced my answers into the televised governor debates, but obviously my critics again fail to address the issues. If they are in the tank for Drazan, then it stands to reason they are super rhinos also. Considering that Willamette Week is writing favorably about Drazen should wake everyone up to the reality of who she really is. With China buying up farms, ranches, rentals, water rights, and starting a new solar panel business in Oregon, ask yourself just how many of our elected past and present representatives are in the tank for China. This is a real issue, guys. This is a significant issue, and nobody has asked them the China question. Not one time. Not the Oregonian, not anybody. You can't call them on the phone, have them answer it, and ask them that question, can you? No. Can you do that to me? Yeah, absolutely. They don't want the question, they're not going to bring it up. Drazen could literally do a slam dunk on this election right now if she came out speaking against the China deal for Oregon. Does she do it? No, because she's complicit. It's that simple. And that is selling out Oregon. I'm not going to do that. Matter of fact, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to recover it. Make Oregon ours again is not just four little words. They are substance. They mean something very important for the state. Now, the left has lost the debate on COVID. They've lost the debate on the failing economy, illegal immigration, horrendous education policies, fair elections. The January 6th insurrection is fully exposed. They've lost the debate on race and everything else. Their fallback position, of course, is abortion. Well, they're taking away your rights to kill your baby. To kill that glob of cells. You know, that's actually something the Supreme Court did really right because it is a states' right issue. It's something to be cited at the state level, period. But what you find is that when California pushed for abortion way back when, they couldn't get it passed in their own state. There's a lot of Christians, a lot of Hispanic and Mexican Christians, and they don't buy into the abortion thing. So California couldn't get it passed. Imagine that. So now, in order for them to work on it, it had to be taken to the Supreme Court, which the Supreme Court screwed up because it wasn't their place to make that decision. They should have kicked it back, said, no, this is a state issue. Done. Next. But they didn't do that back then. The good news is this Supreme Court actually did the right thing. But that puts it back in the hands of each individual state, which is as it should be. Some states will go for it, some will go against it. The real question isn't about that so much as it is how do you fight it? And I've already outlined my details on how I would fight that. Now, there's a fellow Oregonian reported, I'm going to get into something a little different, has to do with the timber. And they had actually took a drive around the Crater Lake area, and they noticed that the forest is basically being bought up and signs posted saying no trespassing, etc. Now, this is posted by a group called the Chinook Forest Management LLC. Now, looking into the companies that are affiliated with this management company, various words are mentioned: conversation, carbon credits, World Forestry Center, decreasing forest due to logging, humans, etc. You know, what's funny about the decreased forest that we have has to do with what? That's right, poor management of fires, allowing them to burn. And that's caused by humans, but the humans in charge that think they're doing something good. Now, apparently on that website, there's a photo of the World Economic Forum on that website. That's a problem, guys. Now, locations of this company include Portland, Oregon, Seattle, and British Columbia, Canada. And it looks like our forests are being covertly purchased by big investors. We need to look into this a whole lot more. Now, Hancock Investment also owns a lot of Oregon forest. They are also worldwide. See what's happening here, guys? So they purchase up property and throw up a gate. You can walk around the gate, but you can't drive through it. I cannot wait to put a bounty out on gates throughout Oregon. As governor, that's one of the things I'm going to do. It's like, okay, you go out there and remove one of these. We'll go out there and we'll pre-mark them. But if you want to go and remove a gate and return that gate back to where we can use it for something else, then we'll probably pay you for that gate. Yeah, we'll issue gate tags. good for to pay for your next deer tag or something, or maybe a gift card or something. Maybe you need some ammo. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Oh man, it'll be a free for all then. And then they're of course further restricting access. Then there's the ONC and BLM further restricting our access to land. This is said to have started back with the railroads and the various land grants of the 1800s. There's also another environmental group buying up a lot of forest, TPL.org. And again, guys, like I said, Oregon is being sold right out from underneath us. And we're not even aware that the land's for sale. Tells you something, doesn't it? So what else we got going on over here? Yeah, and let's see. Let me back up here a little bit. What is this? Okay, here we go. All right. Yeah, thank you, Dean. He wrote me in on the ballot. I do too. And it's not for me. It's not for my ego. It's not for narcissism. Not like that. It's to save Oregon. I want to stay living here in Oregon, and I'm going to fight till I can't fight anymore. But understand, it's going to take all of us Oregonians. We got to stand together. It's not going to be big corporations. No, it's going to be all of us. Greg made a very funny meme that said the only reason Donna Smith was running for governor is because she hates Paul Romero. Well, the funny thing is, never did anything to that woman, but she did plenty to everybody else. She really has a way of rubbing everybody the wrong way within 5 minutes. Yeah, it's usually all it takes. But when narcissists and people like that are actually recruiting you to do something, they tolerate you longer until the job's done. And once it's done, they won't even talk to you. So all Donna's friends are no longer her friends. Yeah, with the exception of one, and she's wackadoo herself. So that is pretty funny, Catherine. I haven't seen that one yet, but a reckoning is coming. That's true. Yeah, they always say we just got to vote for the lesser of evils. God, I've been voting for the lesser of evils for too long. I'm tired of it. I don't want to do it anymore. And the thing is it comes down to getting good people to run for office. And as you've learned, it's a very difficult thing. Even a good person with no criminal record, nothing bad in their history, still gets attacked as if they had done all this stuff. Now, here's one for you, right? So there's certain elements out there by the name of Chris Tuff. He goes by Chris Him Who. He's I think it was aggravated assault, and that was the lowered charge. He spent some serious time in federal or state prison, and apparently he's moved back to Coquille in Coos County as of October. Okay, so here's this guy. He's been real critical of me. Apparently, Laura Barker recruited him somehow, some way, along with the Angie Height or Angie Freedom Fighter, Angie Vandenboss, and a number of other people have been involved in that. And so they've all been literally just trying to attack me and accusing me of things, being a pedophile, for example. Oh yeah, the whole guilt by association, which doesn't even, if they knew any of the real truth about stuff, well, they wouldn't even say that. But it doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. It's just what they're going to do. So they're back over there, and the thing I couldn't understand is why would Rob Taylor and Rod Taylor? Now, Rob Taylor kind of supports it, and as you know, with me, I'm a Christian. I believe in redemption, but redemption requires effort and follow through. Chris Tuff. Number one, he's not as tough as he thinks he is, and no, he's not following through. So for other people that have done their crime and done their time, hey, salute. Carry on in a good, right way. That's all you got to do. But some people, that guy, I think, qualifies to be a bit of a narcissist. The guy really loves to hear himself talk. I've seen some of his videos he does. I'm impressed with the amount of people that follow him. I really am. So he has that type of charisma somehow, or attracts certain people, which is fine. But the fact is, what's he really doing? What's he really accomplishing? I don't see it. And for Rob Taylor, well, guess what? I'll be on the Rob Taylor report on the 7th for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, apparently. I don't get a full hour, as a legitimate candidate. That's something else. We've been trying to get back on his show again to get a fair shake on it finally. But we've been asking for this for over a month and a half now, right? And finally he comes back, well, I do have one little spot open on the 7th of November. Well, I better make that 10 minutes count, right? Yeah. So we'll do that, and I'm fully prepared for it. And then so there's that, and we'll see how that goes. But heck, even Rob Taylor has got a criminal record. He's got some things in his past that I'm sure he'd rather everybody forget or just not know about. But unfortunately for him, he's drawn a lot of attention to himself, and people are now checking. And then there's Rod Taylor. Wow, and I never thought Rod Taylor would trespass on somebody's property and give them shit about it. Yeah, and that was recent. Uh, yeah, he's got some fast cars. He's got hit for speeding. That's something there. I got hit for speeding once, but I thought it was 65, and actually they changed the speed limit to 55. It was kind of going through Klamath Falls and somewhere in there. They just changed speed limit signs, and I wasn't aware. Didn't spot it, but it wasn't like I was doing 107 or anything crazy. But like I said, be careful who you follow. Okay, you got to know where people are coming from, and your history does matter. But I also believe, like I said, people can recover, and we as Christians have to give them that opportunity. But if they're failing, if they're not following through with that, well, you got to call it what it is. Uh, so, so yeah, there you have it, Coos County. I know you got more Mo Betta. You got Mo Betta people to run for office. I know you do. I've met some of you. Okay, so yeah, yep. It's time to get on the field, guys. Time to play. So just to let you know, once we get through November 8th, we're going to be taking a bit of a break. Hopefully, we'll be going into the governor's mansion in January, but we'll see how that goes. But in the event that we don't, that's when we're going to start up the next fight. And we're going to win this. We're going to win this entire state. And we're going to do it as a team, no individuals. And the one thing I'm going to warn you about, if you're going to be a candidate, leave your arrogance at home. Leave your ego at home. Matter of fact, put it in a box, give it to somebody to go bury somewhere, and lose it altogether. You do not need it. You will function and do way better without it. That's it. Be open to what constituents have to say. You may have a baseline position or opinion, but the fact is it the end all be all? Chances are no. So you have to be willing to listen to other people and adjust based on that information. We unite behind these things, these principles, these basic ideas, and then going forward. And if there's something we understand better than other people and we need to explain it and back it up. Then you change our minds, right? That goes for everybody. But it will be a team effort. Every campaign, every candidate will help and support the other candidates. It has to be that way. But the best part about it is this, guys. All we have to do is we the people under the Constitution. That's it. That's the requirement. And if you do those two things, well, it's actually pretty easy. So please keep that in mind. See, Ron Wyden's worth $38 million as of 2012. As of okay, man, Ron Wyden sucks. How long has AOC been in office? What, 2 cycles now? 4 years? She's worth $29 million. Apparently, Wyden wasn't nearly as smart. Oh God, that's frightening. Could explain a lot too, guys. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Tom. Listen, Thomas. One thing is this: it's going to be, no matter what, it's going to be an uphill battle. It always will be, right? Especially when you're on the right side and you're coming from a place of good. What you're trying to do to help save people's liberty, freedom, and sovereignty, which I know you are. So, and when it comes to putting energy and effort, listen, I put almost 2 years into this, and when people have the audacity to tell me, well, what qualifies you to run for governor? I'm like, well, what qualifies Alex Scalatos to run for Congress? Education? Life experience? Military real performance? No. Come on, guys. And there, to be honest, there's only 2 things that really qualify me for governor officially. Number 1, I'm an American citizen. And number 2, I live in Oregon. It's the only requirements. Beyond that, it's what my life history has brought to the table. When you put all that on a scale against another candidate, fundamentally, that's what we're supposed to be doing. And now everybody's just saying, well, that person has more money in their campaign coffers, so I should vote for them. That has got to be one of the dumbest things I've actually heard from voters. They actually believe that. That's what they should do. So if that was all that it took to win, well, then Betsy Johnson would be winning, right? And remember this, the only one splitting votes right now is Betsy Johnson. She may peel some off the Democrats, but she's going to peel a bunch off the Republicans, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a whole bunch of Betsy Johnson supporters through Bridget Barton, by the way, who is a Democrat, crying out loud. And there's one person I have a lot of respect for, great researcher. She still thinks Bridget Barton. Oh, gosh. Come on. I was in all the debates with her last year. Monkey stomped around circles around her, no problem. She was easy compared to everybody else. Well, her and Gonzalez, Gomez, one of the, whatever. You know the gal, the one that owns the microchip company here in Southern Oregon. Gosh, it's amazing. Garbage in, garbage out. But it's remarkable, some people's perception of people. And when you understand who Betsy Johnson really is and how she's going to throw a monkey wrench in the work, that she is the only reason Tina Kotek might actually pull it off if they use theft within this election through the ballot tallying devices. I'm telling you now. Believe me, we're going to look at those numbers. We're going to analyze the bejesus out of them. And when we do, you're going to see, you're going to understand, and it'll be a shock to the world. Tina Kotek has won this race. Oh, no, really? How? Well, it was Romero, write-in candidate. He destroyed it. No. You didn't have enough Republicans in the first place. And then even those you had got split between Drazen and Johnson. But no one's attacking Johnson for splitting the vote. Why is that? She has lots of money, millions of dollars, lots of the right support, although I'd say poorly spent. I think all three of them have poorly spent the money they had, very much so. We can operate on not even $500,000 and actually do a good campaign. But again, we have zero payroll. It's important. So please keep that in mind. Hey, Miss Tammy. I like to think I have some substance, because here's the thing. It's up to all of y'all to make sure I do. If I don't at any point in time, you let me know. That's the deal. You know, if I'm wrong about something, or if I have misinformation, I need to correct something. Bring it to me. I don't want to be talking out of my backside ever. You know, I like being in an argument that I can win with the hard facts and evidence, and it's just a better place to be. Definitely got to drain the Salem swamp, of course, Mr. Christian. Can we reclaim Oregon land that was sold without our knowledge? I believe, yes, we can. And as governor, I can make that happen, because I get to go back and say, you know what? This was a violation of the public trust and public land. And as such, all these contracts, all these agreements are null and void. Funds, money will be returned, et cetera, et cetera. And then the right people will go to jail for their participation in those endeavors. Hey, Mr. Dale, good to see you. Do we include Junior Lee, right? Nope, just go Paul Romero. That's all you got to do. Paul Romero. That's it. And Paul Joseph Romero Jr. is my full name, but Paul Romero is more than enough. There's only one Paul Romero running for governor in the state of Oregon. Let's see. That's a great question. Probably the legal way. It's all about money. I don't have the money to take this to court. Yeah. So yeah, here's the thing, guys. One of the issues we have going forward. My wife and I, we have a company that within the next year, hopefully, we start seeing our royalty checks come in. And it's going to be really nice, and we won't have to worry about anything really forever. And once that happens, just on the basis of principle, will I be taking all these individuals guilty of libel, slander, malicious defamation, character assassination to court, along with all the people that violated all those Oregon statutes, what have you, and suing them all into oblivion? Yes. And whatever I get in the course of all that, yes, I'm going to donate. That's what we got plans to do. So We'll spend our own money for the legal stuff and to make that happen, and then we'll be taking whatever we get out of that deal, and that's going to go to good good people and good groups. You know, something I want y'all to be aware of, and I'll get into this later, probably on Sunday, is Child Protective Services and who and what they really are, and what you need to know to fight it. And by the way, you can fight and you can definitely win. So it's really important. Humility is a cure for narcissism. Actually, you know what the cure for narcissism is? Don't have it. We are not the center of the universe ever. Therefore, move along. Now, there's people. It's like you ever know somebody that's on TikTok or something, and they do a billion face. It used to be all the people in their selfies, right? Everywhere they go, they got to do a selfie. Everywhere they go, they got to take pictures of their meal, and they got to post that up and everything. So you get to know everything they eat, exactly what they wore every day or through the day. Okay, listen, this has literally created an awful lot of narcissism. And then on top of it all, we have social media where people get to post a little short Twitter things. And apparently, oh my gosh, what is it about boobs? It's like it's like it's like putting corn down for the deer to come in. Yeah, that's pretty how it's being used now. It's like, okay, okay, really, if you think that little of yourself to just promote that about yourself to get more attention and more followers, then nobody really should be following that. Listen, I appreciate the female form as well as the next guy, but it's gotten a little ridiculous. And with guys, no different. Well, a little different. we don't have boobs. Um, but what was funny was I saw a video. A gal had taken water balloons, hung them around her neck, and then put that in her shirt, and then was running in the jogging, the slow motion jog, and the bouncing. And then this kid, to be funny, he got a couple of small water balloons and put them in his shorts and waistband, and was jogging with them. Oh my gosh, that was. I'm sorry, but it was funny. Again, it's like, what is going on with the world when that's all that's out there? And I really don't understand why that stuff shows up in the feed, because it's like everything from hunting stuff with dogs and cats, some pretty crazy things that happen that we all get to witness nowadays. But again, social media has created a culture of narcissism for a lot of people. And the reason being is that a lot of people, there's not really anything overly spectacular. It's not like they won the Congressional Medal of Honor, right? Or something like that. And those people, they're humble to beat the band. They're like, oh, no, I'll think nothing of it. Hey, I was happy to do it. That's it. And what's amazing is the people that do the stolen valor thing. Boy, they're just always in your face. Oh, look at this, and I did that, and I was wonderful, and I was awesome, and even the military. The one thing we always seem to have wherever we went, because when we earned something, we got recognition for something. It was something serious, especially in the Navy. They don't just give out what we call gedunk medals. That would be the Air Force. You get a medal for brushing your teeth successfully, good hygiene. Um, you come out of boot camp in the Air Force with a chest full of ribbons. You know how many ribbons you come out of the Navy boot camp with? None. Not one. No. Marine Corps, you got a sharpshooter deal. That's your job. That's what you do. But that's what you do. That you actually get a chance to come out of boot camp with an actual thing on your chest. Army, I think it's kind of the same way for them. But Air Force, yeah, you'll see an Air Force general or somebody with whole chest full of ribbons, and then the equivalent admiral or other Army general or Marine would have a pretty good chest, but nothing like up and down his shirt. Then you go look at the Russian generals or the Chinese generals. They cover the entire dress uniform. What did they get those for? Again. So, but Stolen Valor guys, you'll see them really go into great detail about stuff. And I met a guy. His name was Robert Countryman. Robert Countryman passed himself off as a Navy Master Chief Navy SEAL. Okay. What I learned about this guy, I mean, he knew it all. He had all the right names. He had the right dates. He knew who to talk to about and who they were. And for me, I had some knowledge about this, so it lent real good credence to his story, right? But then there's some other things that weren't adding up. And he's supposed to be retired, almost 30 years in. And if he was retired, he'd have a pretty good deal working for himself. And I really don't know his full true story. But what I do know is this: I contacted people I know that check out military service careers, and found out that he's only had been in the Navy for 5 months. Five. He came in as a fireman recruit, and in 5 months he would have been at least a fireman apprentice, possibly even a fireman. But when he ended up going out after 5 months, they kicked him out as a fireman recruit. He was not a Master Chief. He was not a Navy SEAL. He was nothing, literally nothing. But that's how well studied and versed he was in. So if you ever run into a Robert Countryman, don't trust him as far as you can throw him. Yeah, sure enough. So these people exist, and I have unfortunately had to uncover a couple of them. And one of the next ones will be Donis and James Smith. Yeah, the truth about who they actually are as far as in military service. See, I know they have some military service, but a lot of what they claim is just not true. And the audacity that they have to attack me about mine, everything I've ever told anybody is the truth. Being a Navy spook, being a crypto tech, that was kind of a big deal. Got to work with BQ-2. That's one of our communications reconnaissance aircraft squadron, and spent a lot of time on Navy ships in the Mediterranean. Crossed through both canals twice, and crossed the equator, crossed the line of death off of Libya. It's pretty exciting stuff. Been in the Persian Gulf, Red Sea, Indian Ocean. Done all that stuff. And it pisses me off if somebody questions when I tell you what I've done in the military, it's the truth. I don't need to exaggerate it. And I can be detailed about it. Donna Smith can't. And on top of that, I talked to people that have actually worked with her in the course of her time in the Guard or in the Army. And wow, it's two totally different stories. And there's one I'm going to trust, and the other one I'm definitely not. So anyway, but we'll have more information on that because here's the truth, guys. You should know the truth. It should just be there. And if somebody's going to be in the public eye and claim military service and all this 41 years of service, I'm sorry, but that's just not true. Okay. Let's see. And actually, humility is just the way we kind of keep ourselves grounded, I think. And it's like when you get on a rugby field. See, I like being part of a team. I'm a team guy. Narcissists are not team guys. They're just not. They are all about themselves. And nothing of what I do would offer you that I'm doing all this for myself. I would much rather be on vacation than doing all the work I've done over the last 2 years. But it's necessary. If I'm gonna do anything I can to actually try to help and save Oregon, I have to make the effort. I have to go through the paces. I have to put in the work. And that's what I've been doing. And then there's people like Donna Smith that haven't put up any real work into anything. Ever. Oh yeah, that's true too, by the way. Yeah, Ron Wyden looks like the Crypt Keeper. Yep. Matter of fact, that's his next job when he gets done in Congress. Yep, Bridget Barton does support Johnson. Supports abortion and stricter gun control. Again, Bridget Barton is not a Republican. She is a Democrat. Period. Pay attention. Tenacious Frosty. Hey, Dale Farrow. He said, "Now I got 9 votes out of this house." Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And at some point, I have to stop by. I have to stop by and see you here. Land reform and homesteading is the only way back to where we have traveled. Yes, it is, Mr. Zoll. And that's exactly where I I'm planning to take us. We're going to get us there. It's going to take all of us, but we're going to get us there. Child services are kidnappers. Yes, Barry, and boy, they are guilty of so much stuff. They are tied into the child trafficking. I am absolutely certain of it. And it is time for us to put them on their heels. The other thing is, I got to admit, I have another idea. I need to get with Miss Vanessa on this one. Oh, yeah, I know what we're going to do. We're going to put all these other CPS contractors out of a job. I know how we can do that. Hey, Dale, before he lost 150 pounds, he had boobs. Dude, there's a whole lot of people that can say that one. But I got to admit, on a guy with a beard, no, boobs just don't work. No, no. Tina Kotek net worth, this is $1.5 million. Drazen net worth, 1.36 million. Johnson net worth, 1.5 million. Is that actual net worth, or is that just what they have in their campaign accounts? Yeah. Again, see, none of these people have ever probably been on food stamps, have ever been homeless, have ever had to worry about paying for their cell bill or their electric bill or rent or mortgage or anything like that, which is great. And there's a lot of us that fall in that category. But the fact is, how is it that they really relate to people, right? You know, when I was a single father of 5, oh yeah, food stamps. If it wasn't for that, we'd all starve. That's the truth. Um, Man, no, son of a gun. So Kate Brown's net worth 200 million. How does a governor? And by the way, this is Kate Brown had to steal a couple $1,000s from her boyfriend in Alaska when she moved back to Roseburg, Oregon, and joined a commune. Okay, and I think that was before she went to college. And now she's worth $200 million. You know what it's called? It's called China. China is how she got away. What business does she own? Anybody? Anyone? Yeah. Yes, I will definitely. CPS, man, I'm going to have those people popping tall in the governor's office, and it's going to be rough. And I'm going to have the sheriffs there ready to go. Yep. Identity politics pays well. Apparently, it does. And that's why all of us above board people, constitutional people, it doesn't pay well except for our freedom, liberty, and sovereignty. And to us, that's invaluable. And that's what we're all fighting for. Let's see. Turkey story and my son in stitches. Oh, turkey story. You're talking about the car story? Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, it's kind of a funny one. Really talented narcissists are cult leaders. Yes, and one thing I can say is we are not a cult. Never have been, never will be. However, Laura Barker is what they call a toxic narcissist. It's like a textbook definition for what she does, how she does it, and how she creates her little group of followers. And then there's those people that are very much, they're kind of narcissist codependents. They need that environment. They thrive to it. Unfortunately, it usually drags them down into oblivion, and they become kind of like egocentric types. But again, they're in support of the narcissist. Those narcissists attract those people. And that's a whole big group of them, including Roger Shipman. He's a real easily manipulated guy anyway. Although I never tried to manipulate him. Not once. I was straight with them all the time, always. But yeah, those narcissists, they're real abusers. And what's funny is she's the one that was saying that she could tell an abuser a mile away and I was an abuser. How was I an abuser? She never answered that question, except to say, well, I can tell an abuser from a mile away. Okay, then if you're calling Paul Romero an abuser, exactly how is he an abuser? What has he done? She offered zero, nothing, nada. Yeah. Let's see. And of course, my favorite one-liner as of late is this. It was so obvious. It was like a turd in a punch bowl with no punch. Yeah, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? Yeah. Their actual net worth. Wow, they're all doing pretty good. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. That's a good thing. So roughly about a $1.5 million net worth, which once they're in office as governor, should they get into office, you're going to see how that's going to skyrocket. Yep, that's going to be pretty crazy. Okay, so let's go back over here. Oh, so you got what, Raphael Warnock, Joe Biden, and was it John Fetterman? Nothing quite like running mentally defective candidates. It's like they keep telling everybody, "Oh, don't worry, they're okay, they're fine." I have to wonder, is Biden's administration being run by Obama, or is it being run by a bunch of 20-something woke individuals, right? Oh man, I cannot wait till we find out, because I'm telling you now, I think we're going to do a little Thunderdome. Yep, little Thunderdome for those guys. So apparently, with these guys, it's not about the individual, but just the party they are running for. And the fact is, this has been bad all the way around. So arrogance versus confidence versus contempt towards the voters. Uh, you know, that somehow the Democrats don't have to win your vote, that the machine just keeps them winning, and has managed to convince many that it's all on the up and up, that there is no fraudulent. Oh no, they're still saying, oh no, there's no fraudulent elections anywhere. No, they're perfect. They're the most secure and perfect elections ever. Huge lie. So, what is it going to take to wake up the American voter? Well, I believe a lot of us are waking up, and more are waking up. And the buyer's remorse, I haven't seen a Joe Biden bumper sticker anywhere. Yeah. Where's all the Kate Brown supporters I used to see? They vanished. Imagine that. So, let's see. Oh, this is a really good observation I read about. They were saying that millennials masquerade to fit in rather than to step up and defend their own positions. Social pressure to have the right opinion is pervasive in America today. We all just want to. It's kind of like everybody's trying to be part of the cool kid club, right? Problem is, it's not that they're the cool kids, they're just the loudest ones. And they also happen to apparently be not the brightest ones either, because the stuff they push is just so ridiculous. But basically, like I said, social pressure to have the right opinion. Okay, guys, your opinion is to be based on outside people and what they think. It's supposed to be on what you think and what you can figure out. Then you can have a dialogue, have a vigorous dialogue, even to go over a subject, have a conversation. Why do I feel this way? Why do I like this mouse over this other one? And I go into detail about that. And the other one says, oh, you have some really good points, but the reason I like this one is because of these reasons, these features. Are either one of us wrong? Actually, in this case, probably not, because one mouse may be used for certain specific things on a computer. One may be a gaming mouse, more geared for that. So each one has its purpose nowadays. It's not just a one size fits all anymore. So there, you can still both be right sometimes, but when it comes to the Constitution, oh no, there's one right, and there's everything else wrong. And right now, we've had so much wrong about the Constitution shoved down our throat. I get tired of hearing people say, well, politicians, elected officials, well, we need to protect our democracy. No, we don't have a democracy. We have a republic. And those idiots, I know they know the difference. But see, they want it to be a democracy because that allows for them to be the elite tyrants that they are. Now, something I ran into also, we were talking about how parents should have more influence over public schools. Now, the whole idea about having the right opinion, right? So people that answered this poll, privately, 74% said yes, parents should be in the know for the curriculum, public curriculum, and have a say in it. 74% said yes. However, publicly, only 48% were willing to say, yes, we should. A 26% difference because people were afraid that their opinion wasn't going to line up. I got news for you. If 74% of us said yes, then the 26 that said no or I don't know, do you really think I'm going to worry about them? No. We outnumber them. Stop acting like we don't. And that's the problem. People are automatically assuming that their position is so wrong that they're going to be attacked, vilified for it, because of all the loud handful of people. And so they go along with the opposite side of the fence there, and it doesn't work. But that's one of the things we're currently experiencing. Now, one thing I want to tell y'all, this is kind of important. There's a gal I know, her name's Diane L. Gruber. She's actually an attorney. She was the gay Republican. She's retired now with her partner, and they're really nice people. And she has been outspoken to beat the man. She's just has amazing insights and presentation of her information. And there's a question: are you a Democrat or an American? Well, see, that's really the wrong question. The right question, as she said, was: are you a useful idiot, an enemy of the people, or an American? Ah, see, this addresses all the people. So if you're an enemy of the people, that's the tyrants, the elites. And then there's the useful idiots that aren't smart enough, the woke individuals that just don't have what the mentality, the mental fortitude to recognize that they're being fed bovine excrement. Or are you really an American standing on the Constitution? That is the right question. So she goes on talking about her neighbor and her were discussing Biden's support or lack thereof among the American people. So in other words, we're not really supporting Biden at all. And even the people that did support him, you can't hardly find them. They will not go, oh yeah, I voted for Biden. No, you can't find those people anymore. So were Biden voters disappointed or mad at what he had done to them and their friends, relatives, and neighbors? And mind you, what Biden has done is done to us all. And that's something I keep telling them. Listen, you think that all the stuff that they've done against all of us is only affecting us? No, it's affecting you too. It's affecting us all. And you're okay with it? Really? So you have Biden lovers and Trump lovers. We're all suffering under Biden's policies. Now, the stock market had tanked. People have lost up to 25% of their 401ks and stuff. It takes time to build that up, and it took no time to kill it, right? So it's wiped out savings for millions of Americans. People, even my son and I, we've been living on our savings this last 6 months. Not even a question. You know, food prices have jumped so high that food banks are basically can't keep up with the demand. Gas prices were about 3 times what they had been barely a year ago. And Biden keeps pushing legislation that economists said was guaranteed to push us into a recession. Apparently, everybody in the Biden administration and all his woke 20-year-old plus somethings, apparently none of them took economics. Economics 101. You learn about what recessions are. And by the way, a little side note regarding Bernie Sanders. You sorry son of a, you're a moron. You're an absolute idiot beyond the pale. He's telling, well, yeah, the recession is due to the greedy corporations and the greedy gas companies, and they're making more profit off of us, and they're doing all this stuff. No. Inflation, recession, it has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with what Biden has done. Basic policy. Number one, shutting down our oil fields, taking away our ability to be energy independent. That's what kept our gas prices good to go. And that's what's changed it. And it had nothing to do with the oil companies. Now, granted, oil companies are going to make their money no matter what, right? Maybe even a little more because of it. So do you hear them complaining? No, because you've set it up for them. The other thing is this: the only thing that causes inflation, the only two things, we've said this before, I'll say it again. Number one, Congress spending money we don't have. Number two, the Fed, the Federal Reserve, printing more American greenbacks without anything of value on them. It's fiat money. It's like they can print as much as they need to use to sell, to pay for whatever. This does not help us. This makes inflation worse and has put us, excuse me, into a recession. We've been in a recession. Notice, well, we're kind of pre-recession. No, we're in it. Inflation, boom, we're there. And the combination of the two is stagflation. And how are we going to recover? I'll tell you right now, guys, recovery from that with Biden and his idiots still at the helm? No. He's going to drive this country right into the ground. This is also why Democrats are losing everywhere. And that, thank God for that. But the question is, the Republicans we replace them with, the non-affiliated voters we replace them with, Who are they? Really? We have too many rhinos. They're Democrats in Republican clothing. Are they going to carry on? Or are they going to go back and touch base to where they should be? Constitution, right? Well, we're going to see. Now, she goes on about this and how her and her neighbor were talking about how Biden voters still supported him, surprisingly, how many still support him when the damage was so obvious and so many people were hurting. They noticed that some of her liberal friends weren't bragging about Joe Biden anymore. Did they regret their vote? Even outspoken Trump haters had fallen silent, seemingly remembering how much better off they were during Trump's administration. So, who are Biden's current supporters? Well, currently, her and her neighbor agreed that they could be divided into two broad categories. One was useful idiots, and the other one was enemies of the people. Wow. And by the way, Diane, she's a conservative Republican, yeah, but she's liberal too. She's actually a legit old school liberal. And a lot of her friends and people she knows are very much liberals, legitimate liberals. Liberals of today are not legitimate liberals. The communists, the socialists have kind of glommed onto that, trying to rebrand themselves. So, a useful idiot, as they define this, such a person is usually bitter and aggrieved. He or she follows a leader, a political movement, and or a political party whose policies harm them, their loved ones, and their neighbors. The useful idiot is too naive or too stupid to recognize the damage they are supporting and promoting. Many useful idiots do wise up as time goes on, but many remain useful idiots their entire lives. Indeed, some useful idiots jump from harmful cause to harmful cause throughout their lifetimes. Some believe the term useful idiot was first coined by Vladimir Lenin when he referred to Russian peasants who fought for the revolution, believing they would benefit under the new system. Old Vlad knew their lot wouldn't improve and would likely get worse, as they exchanged one master, the Tsar, for another, communism. He laughed at their stupidity. Is Biden laughing at the stupidity of his useful idiots? Well, the problem is, Biden is a vegetable. I don't think he'd find much of anything funny at all, even if it actually was. The second part of the Biden supporters are the enemies of the people. And I would put this, the people that surround Biden right now, the people pulling his strings, they are truly enemies of the people. And I cannot wait till they are hunted down. Now, these people believe when America collapses and globalism takes over, they will maintain their privileged status. So here's my message to all of them. No, because me and about, 100 million Americans are going to hunt you down. And we will not be offering any quarter. You helped drive us to this, then guess what? You're going to pay the ultimate price. And that would be fair. They are well aware that the leaders, political movement, and our political party they promote are destroying their country and harming their fellow Americans. Right now here in Oregon, we have China destroying our state, taking it out from under our feet. And we have legislators, including Drazen, Johnson, Kotek, and Kate Brown, that are all participating in it. Not to mention, to be honest, David Brock Smith. I know, right? I think it's, what is he, House District 2? Either way, there's a whole lot of legislators that are eyeballs deep into China. And it used to have a long list of supporters on the OregonChinaCouncil.org website. I did get challenged on that and said, well, no, there's nothing that shows that she's connected to that. No, she's been connected to that. And the fact she's not talking about it speaks volumes. So go ask her the question is what I challenge her. Go contact her and say, where's your stance with the Oregon China Council? They won't answer your question. And that tells you all you need to know. So going on here, fundamentally, these people that have basically are enemies of the people, they just don't care because they are benefiting right now, and they believe they will continue to benefit under the power structure that they are promoting. They think they're smart enough and tough enough to beat all of us. They think that there's going to be somebody there to protect and defend them. And the answer is no, they're not, because they're going to be taken out first, and then them second. And they will not be offered any quarter. They will be guilty of treason. And right now in the state of Oregon, believe it or not, we have a huge list of people that are guilty of treason. We really do. Now, how many enemies of the people are employed by federal, state, local governments? Government employees, about 28 plus million, represent over 11% of the workforce. Add family members of government employees and add employees and family members of NGOs, which are funded mainly by tax dollars, we are likely looking at more than 20% of the American population. This group of narcissists could be divided into three subgroups: the Nancy Pelosi's, the Bill Gates, and the George Soroses. Then there's the Kennedys, the Obamas, and the Clintons, are all examples of who occupies the ruling class and are likely to maintain that status after America collapses, at least in the short term. And what I'm here to promise you is this: should America collapse, I'm going to make it my absolute commitment, and with my dying breath, to address and go after any of the people actually responsible for any demise of our country. We all have that obligation as American citizens. If you were going to let our freedom and our liberty and our sovereignty be totally taken from us to the point that we have to fight for it back, well, like I said, offer no quarter, take no prisoners. Those who surround the ruling class and greatly benefit from this power structure could be called the second, third, fourth tiers of the administrative state. They are the functionaries who carry out their destructive policies and kiss their backsides. Examples: Fauci, Yellen, Mayor Pete, Ketanji Brown Jackson, Kamala Harris, Mayorkas, Garland, Wray, and tens of thousands of unnamed overpaid bureaucrats. Corporate powerhouses and others who assist the ruling class fall within this category. So long as they continue to be useful to the top tier, he and she and family will continue to be members protected within the ruling class's power structure. The problem is this: there's way more of us than them. Who's going to protect them from all of us? That's how confident they are. Well, I guess first they could probably do is wipe out a big chunk of our population. Uh-oh. So every day, Democrats who are so selfish, so self-absorbed, so narcissistic that they vote for policies believing they will be elevated to it or protected by the ruling class and knowing others will be harmed. After the collapse, these Americans will be rubbing elbows with both useful idiots and patriots who fought against globalism. They will make up the new American peasantry, the serfs. Now, what are the percentages of Democrats in each category? So, now this discussion took place after many of Biden's policies had kicked in, pushing all but the ruling class down the economic toilet. So Biden, his White House staff, and his cabinet were strutting and bragging that his policies were creating a new economy, a new crappy economy. And thus, he admitted he was intentionally harming the country and its people. So it suggested that of the current Biden supporters, about 95% were useful idiots and 5% were enemies of the people. Yes, I'd have to agree with that summation. And her neighbor actually was insistent that the actual percentages were 80% useful idiots and 20% enemies of the people. In other words, he believed that 20% of those who supported Biden's policies were knowingly promoting policies they believe will destroy their own country, greatly harm their fellow Americans, and benefit themselves. Let that sink in. Think about that. People in power who know how it's going to hurt all of us, and they're okay with it because they think somehow, some way, they're going to be large and in charge. And I promise them this: you will not. All of us will be. Yeah. So, and of course, the last real question is this. And this is what I've been asking for 2 years of every voter. Are you better off than you were 20, 30 years ago in the state of Oregon? Invariably, the answer is no. The only people that say yes are the ones that have become fat, dumb, and happy, made their money, they're good to go. They don't have to worry about anything. The wealthy people are really not too worried about inflation. They can always pay their bills. They got plenty of cash, plenty of money saved up. However, if they're not watching their investments, they may have lost 25%, say in the last couple months, right? So during the October 28, 1980 Carter-Reagan debate, challenger Ronald Reagan asked a question each and every American should be asking themselves before they vote this November. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Is it easier for you to go and buy things in the stores than it was 4 years ago? Is there more or less unemployment in your state or country? Now, useful idiots can be found at all education levels, from illiterate to PhDs. And that's what my grandfather always said. He said, Any idiot with enough time and money can get a college degree, and most do. Man. And he said, well, grandson, he said, you're going to have to get that piece of paper and experience to make it work. Back then, when he first told me, I really didn't fully understand what he was saying, but I remembered what he said, and I fully understand it. That's for sure. So, you know, we refer to Biden, we refer to his handlers, really. These are the people that are actually making decisions, running and ruining the country. Biden is in the third stage of dementia and does not have the cognitive abilities to understand complex ideas. Although he is making very few of the decisions that are changing our economy and lifestyles, Biden is nevertheless enjoying the power of the presidency, or better yet, the people that surround him. So, kind of puts a lot of things in perspective, doesn't it? Yeah. We are all, they're pissing on us and they're telling us that it's rain. Wow. So, what else we got here? uh, okay, let's see where we at. Let's see. If you're so different, you're actually raised. Yeah, I got to admit, let me tell you something. There's a lot of evidence to support that, Thomas, that a lot of Democrats, in the first thing they accuse every Republican of is being a racist, even the black ones. Actually, especially the black ones. It makes no dang sense, but that's what they do. They scream it, yell it, they say it so much, they get the media to support this deal, and the media looks dumber and dumber every day. And when you hear every different media person all literally reading the same stuff every day, they're all reporting the same information. It's like one person's writing it, telling everybody else what to say. How can you live with yourself? And the thing is, we've witnessed a number of online personality reporter type people basically, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. This is lies. It's bullshit. I'm done. I'm out. Moving on. And good for them. The downside is until we have people like Elon Musk buying up Twitter, all right, until we have somebody buying up Facebook. But hey, I got great hopes for Twitter, guys. My hope is that Musk is able to do exactly what he says, and I'm confident he will. I'm actually very confident of this. Musk is going to turn Twitter into its own Facebook and Amazon and everything else. It'll be like the Mall of America, all your social media, everything, kind of in one spot, but in multiple spots. And then we can all abandon all the left-wing, socialist-controlled elements, which I would love to do. So stay tuned, people, because I have a good feeling great things are happening. Now, there was a conversation. Trump was speaking today with Julian Assange. I don't know if anybody else caught that. I was actually shopping and going through the Sherms, and they're one aisle with, gosh, everything under the sun, from buckwheat to oat bran, all kinds of good stuff. Because we do a lot of our stuff from scratch. I know. And one of our favorite things is kefir, by the way. And if you want to make kefir, and something we had to do, we realized that the thing we were flavoring things with had aspartame in it. Get rid of aspartame, guys. I don't care what you're drinking. If it has aspartame in it, do not consume it. Let it go. Cut it out of your diet altogether. Do something different. So what we're doing is when we make kefir, we take a gallon of whole milk, we put it in a bowl, set it room temperature, and then we put a kefir culture into that. We let it sit for a day or two, and then basically it kind of oh, come on, what's the word? Well, it gets a small alcohol content, but it's not anything significant. But it ferments it and creates a bunch of probiotics, right? Healthy, natural probiotics. And you can and then basically once you do that, you strain out the culture, the culture stuff, and you rinse that, put it in a little jar, put water in it, fill it up, cap it, stick it in the fridge until you're ready for the next batch. And that culture will continue to grow, by the way. And I think we're at a point where we actually have a couple other samples that we could actually give people. So next visitors, make sure you ask, and we'll get you hooked up. So anyway, so we make our own kefir. Once you take that, it basically just kind of tastes like a fermented milk, but it's actually good. Think of it like a sour cream yogurt type of thing almost. And what we do now, we get Kool-Aid packets that don't have sweetener at all. Okay, cheapy, 4 for $1. It used to be like 5 for $1 or even better, but it's 4 for $1 now at Sherm's, and you get all kinds of flavors from cherry, watermelon, you name it. Anyway, I think 2 of those are normally for make a gallon, and normally you'd add a cup of sugar for each packet, so 2 cups of sugar. We don't use sugar for this, no, or any artificial sweetener. Which let me tell you the story. Oh, this will be fun. I got to give you guys good fun things to do. Anyway, and then what we do is we actually get a stevia. Stevia, it's 1 cup for 1 cup sugar, 1 cup sugar, 1 cup stevia. So we can add that stevia to sweeten it a little bit and have whatever flavor we want. And it's like a really kind of a liquidy yogurt, and it tastes great. It's refreshing. It's healthy as all get out, especially for like gut health, which is something all of us need. And by the way, the biggest piece of advice I can give you right now, if you want to lose weight, add a whole lot more fiber to your diet. If you stopped and look at all the food you eat right now and go measure the fiber, if you're not hitting somewhere between 25 and 34 grams of fiber a day, you're screwed up. Yeah, do that and watch what happens. So there's if you've ever heard of for people that are diabetic, they got to control their sugar intake. So they have these gummy bears, and they're like sugar free. And the thing is that if you eat a bunch of them, you're going to find out just how regular you're going to be. You'll have your entire digestive tract flushed completely out at the most inopportune moments. Oh yeah. Have I witnessed it? Yes. Me personally, no. But I know people have run for the bathroom in the worst possible way. Well, anyway, the sweetener that's used, you can find it at Sherm's in bulk. You can buy it by the pound. And I just lost the name of this stuff. But when I was going through and I was looking at everything in all the bins, what? No. Artificial sweetener. Xylitol. Xylitol is what it's called. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. People are going home and using this as a sugar substitute for brownies and cookies and things like that. Okay, moms, do not. You use regular sugar when you make that stuff, send it to school. Otherwise, there are going to be some serious problems. So don't use that. Okay? I hope I didn't give anybody else any other ideas. You make some special brownies or cookies and you bring them in and just drop them off at the counter somewhere. Yeah, don't do that. Just make sure you stand by with a video camera. It's hard to fix stupid, and that's most liberal. John Wayne said that. He said, you can't fix stupid. Man, apparently true words are never spoken. And the kicker is you can fix stupid, but you got to make an effort. And usually they're not motivated to do that. You ever meet people that have made no effort to expand their knowledge or their understanding of the world or anything? They are just totally oblivious, and they just go through their little life, their little area, and like nothing happens to them. Nothing bad. They just kind of go through life, all sunshines and rainbows, but it's a small fishbowl. And then there's those of us that venture way out into the depths of the ocean, and well, we get to deal with more. And the thing I learned was that the more the Bible you understand, the more that you read, the more responsible you are. So if you're really ignorant, well, you're not responsible quite so much as the one that has a lot of knowledge. So fundamentally, why do I step into the arena? Why do I fight the fight that I fight? I've read a lot of the Bible, and I understand my responsibility. So it behooves me to do all that I can, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. Fight the fight, try to fix the stupid, and inspire the uninspired, because I can't do it by myself. Need all of you to help. So Michael said, "That's besides more votes than historically before last election season, democracy is not a threat." You know, people are waking up, Mike. They're figuring out. They're learning. They're starting to understand what the difference is between a democracy and a republic. Thank God. And they're also starting to realize that their freedoms, their liberties have actually been under attack, and their sovereignty is about to be sold right out from underneath them to China. And I will hunt down personally. If that goes down, it comes to pass. I don't care who it was. We'll be hunting them down. Not even a question. That's going to happen. Marshall Citizen, then right now, Beaverton School District is pushing the gender stuff very hard. They will use their Addies Act 2019 to kidnap your kids. And like I said, guys, we're all going to be fighting that. But Sunday, definitely tune in Sunday for the CPS, Child Protective Services, and how to fight and defeat them. But I have another idea I'm going to add to that. And that just came to me a couple days ago. I was like, what's the best way to fight the other team? Get on the field of battle, right? Got to get in the fight. So to expose them, have their playbook, you can lay them waste. So that's what we're going to do. I got to get with Tom and Vanessa and run my idea past them before Sunday. So we'll come back to you guys Sunday and let you know how you might be able to help. All right. Opinion is not a fact in the court of law. That's right. Well, my opinion, this is, I've heard my opinion type stuff. Like opinions are like a-holes. Yeah, everybody's got one. Doesn't mean that there's any truth coming out of it. That's for sure. Black's Law's Dictionary, which is something I have, says that for it to constitute as a fact, it has to be 2 to 3 witnesses to the fact of what is being said. Witnesses, not speculation, not anything. And all the people that are getting, it's all speculation. It's not, there's no substance to it at all. Oh, by the way, remember how they all said they have all this evidence against me? They presented none of it to nobody. The feds, are they investigating me? No, not true. Edward Renfro can say whatever he wants. He doesn't control them, nor can he create new laws. And so therefore, pissing up a rope. Let him hang himself with that peed on rope. Let's see. He said that he said she says are illegal. So many people have been wrongfully accused and prosecuted over a he said, she said. But liberals live for he said, she said. They don't care about facts as long as they get the attention and praise for it. Yeah, definitely. Yes, Thomas, we have to save our children now, like I said, and that's something that's going to be a big focus as we go forward, especially even now. That's why there's a gentleman out of Bend, and he had an excellent piece he put together. I've gone through it and did corrections and kind of massaged it to get it back to where it could be read like it's being presented to people, because it was just kind of piecemeal together. Yeah, let me tell you what. If we're going to save our country, guys, we have to save our children. Because if we're gone and we have no children, this country dies. And with the amount of people that are going to die from the COVID vaccines and what have you, I'm sorry. As soon as we have a way to fix this, we're going to have to fight for it. Because they know the more of us that survive, the harder it is for them. And I want to make it so hard for them that they literally will, fall on their swords. Yeah. That's right, Thomas. Progressives, not liberal. Liberals of old need to seek out their enemies of our enemy. Yeah. Let me tell you what, old school liberals, idiot of the week. I get along with them great. We see eye to eye. We believe in free speech. Yeah, we believe in rigorous conversation and debate. The liberals of today are all progressive. They're socialists. They just want you to sit down, shut up, listen to what they have to say, believe what they have to say, and that's it. That's it. Hey, Jojo. Nice to see you. Mr. Wilson, let's see. Hey, you take care. We're about to wrap this up. Oh, wow. We're an hour and a half already. Sato National Guard is compromised. Well, and that's why here in Oregon, based on our Constitution, as a requirement, which our state government is not engaged and is in violation of, we have to have a state militia, a state guard. The National Guard does not qualify for the requirements of our Constitution. I know that, and I'm going to fix that as soon as I get in there. Let's see. Okay, and Barry's there bragging about his dinner. Yep. Sounds pretty good, man. And Brussels sprouts. There's a Brussels sprouts I had. I can't remember where it was. Oh man, but they used kind of a brown sugar and bourbon glaze. Yeah, that was awesome. Grilled too. Yeah. Did everyone get their ballots in? Okay. Listen, my ballots, we're waiting to drop them off on Tuesday, on the 8th. We are not giving them any earlier time to figure out who's voting and who's not so they know what votes they can cheat on. We drag it out. Don't turn in your ballot until the day of the election. That's what we all need to do. Okay. Not to mention the fact, for those people that don't know to write in Paul Romero, come the 7th at least, they're going to hear me on the Rob Taylor report, and I'll get someone to grab that part of the audio, and we'll get it in a short little 30 second a minute, or however long it's going to be. We'll get a short version and then that, and try to get it published everywhere. Please share it. Email it to your friends and family. Do what you can, right? That's all I can ask. Just do what you can. All right. Well, cool. Let's see. Battery reception here in CO tonight. Snow the last 3 days, melted by 12 p.m. Wow. Well, I'm glad we're getting that snow. I kind of wish we had somebody analyzing what any chemicals might be in that snow. So if you get a chance, maybe something we can do. Those people getting snow, get a sample of it, put it in a jar. It can melt, just as long as you know what it is and what date and how much fell. That would be good. And if we have to get someone that can analyze it, it might be good to know how much aluminum's in there, right? Should be none. But thank you, Pat. Hey, you take care and thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Thank you, Dale. All right, folks. That's how we're going to leave it. Remember, turn in your ballots on election day, not before. You can fill them out now. Just don't turn them in till Tuesday. Don't forget. Please share as much as you can with the people you know about me as a writing candidate. And the only vote split, by the way, like I said, we've been going after the non-affiliated vote, the Constitutional Party of Oregon vote, the Libertarian vote. We're going to get some trickle in Republicans, I know. We're going to get some Democrats as well. But the question is going to be how much Betsy pulls away from the Republicans that fundamentally undermines Drazan. She is the vote splitter, hands down. And then with the Democrats not really liking Kate Brown or Tina Kotek, chances are they just won't vote in that race, which means who's going to cheat for them? We will see. Again, numbers don't lie. So brace yourself. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. And something else I'm going to share with y'all real quick is as we get through November, I got plans for another type. It's going to still be Lion's Den, and but we're going to be changing things a little bit here. We're going to actually have the ability to do a green screen. We're going to have 2 different walls that we can set up off of, and I'm going to have kind of the command center is going to, the office is going to become more like a command center than anything else. Because at some point in the future, I'm hoping, is that I'll actually have people that will be working out of this office. Yeah, so we'll see how this goes, all right? So anyway, say your prayers. Thank you for all your prayers, your support, and you have no idea how much I appreciate each and every one of you. So with that said, good night, good luck.